It was close to midnight when Brother Samson crept into Pastor Jerry's office. The church compound was quiet, empty, only the night wind moving through the gates. On the pastor's desk lay a small bunch of keys. Samson's hand trembled as he picked them up. For months he had driven Pastor Jerry to that flat outside town. Each time, Jerry entered alone, leaving him in the car. When Samson asked to follow, Jerry smiled and said, "It's just my storehouse." But Samson knew something was wrong. Tonight he would find out. The flat was old and dim. A single bulb flickered above the door, buzzing like a trapped insect. Samson slid the key into the lock. The metal screeched. He froze, listening. Silence. He pushed the door open. The smell struck first. Rot, dampness, like a grave after rain. He stepped inside slowly. The room was bare. No chairs, no tables, only one thing in the middle. A grave. The soil was black, chained at the corners with thick iron links. Burnt candles lay scattered. Dark stains smeared on the floor. Samson's breath caught in his throat. His heart pounded like a drum. Then a whisper, soft and broken. "Why did you leave me here?" Samson spun around. No one. The whisper came again, closer this time. He turned back to the grave. The soil shifted. A pale hand rose slowly from the depths. Thin fingers reached, trembling, scratching against the chain. Samson stumbled back, his knees weak. The hand sank down again. The room fell silent. He turned to flee, but his foot struck something. He bent quickly and lifted it, an old Bible. The cover was torn, soaked in dried blood. On the first page, carved deep, was a name.
Sister Ruth.
Samson whispered it without thinking. The grave shivered. The whisper returned, sharp and clear. "Remember me." Samson dropped the Bible, his hands shaking. He backed into the doorframe, eyes wide, chest heavy. Then slowly the door creaked shut by itself. Samson ran. He did not stop until he reached the main road, his breath tearing out of him. But even as he ran, the voice followed, low, calm and certain. "You will return." The following night, Pastor Jerry left his mansion quietly. No convoy, no noise, only one car. Brother Samson drove him as usual. The road was silent, lined with shadows. When they reached the flats, Jerry spoke softly.
"Stop here."
Samson parked. Jerry picked up a black bag from the back seat. He opened the door.
"Sir, should I follow?"
Samson began. Jerry turned. His smile calm but firm.
"No, my son. This is my storehouse. Wait here."
He closed the door and walked inside. Samson sat still, his chest heavy. Inside the flat, Pastor Jerry moved quickly. He lit candles around the chained grave. Their flames flickered against the cracked walls. The air thickened, the smell of blood returned. Jerry opened the bag. Inside was a white cock, its legs tied. He lifted it high. He began to pray in tongues. At first, the words sounded holy, but slowly they twisted. The language grew strange, sharp, cutting through the room. The grave trembled. The chains rattled. Jerry slit the cock's throat. Blood spilled onto the soil. The ground hissed. A voice rose deep and broken. "More, more." Jerry poured oil and dropped money into the grave. The voice laughed. Then silence. Jerry wiped his forehead, breathing hard. The ritual was complete. Outside, Samson sat in the car, restless. Through the window, he saw shadows moving across the curtain. His palms sweated. He whispered a prayer, short and trembling. When Jerry returned, he looked calm.
"How is everything, my son?"
He asked. Samson forced a smile.
"Fine, sir."
But inside, his heart twisted. That flat was no storehouse. That night, Samson could not sleep. He tossed on his bed, sweating. At midnight, he woke with a start. On the wall above him, words appeared, written as if by blood. "Free me." Samson gasped, stumbling back. A figure stood at the foot of his bed. A woman, pale, dressed in a torn choir robe. Her eyes were hollow. Her lips moved slowly. Her voice was broken but clear. "I am Ruth. Free me before he kills again." Samson froze, his whole body shaking. He shut his eyes. When he opened them, she was gone, but the letters remained on the wall. The next morning, Samson walked into the church with weary eyes. Pastor Jerry preached fire on the pulpit. The crowd shouted, "Amen." But Samson could not focus. Every word, every shout faded into one whisper, echoing inside him, "Free me."
By Sunday morning, the church overflowed with people.
Ushers rushed about, the choir sang with fire. Pastor Jerry stepped onto the pulpit, his voice was strong.
Today is your day of freedom,
he declared. The congregation roared, "Amen." He laid hands on the sick man. The man coughed, staggered, and collapsed. Nothing. The crowd gasped. Jerry prayed louder, sweat dripping from his forehead. Still nothing. Murmurs spread across the hall. Whispers flew. Some members quietly picked up their bags and walked out. Jerry's eyes burned with fear. That night, he locked himself in his office. He prayed until his throat was dry. No peace came. When he finally dozed off, a figure appeared. His father, Pastor Williams, skin grey, eyes like pits.
Jerry,
the voice rasped.
You have failed. Someone has entered the room. That is why the covenant is shaking.
Jerry dropped to his knees in the dream.
Father, who?
But Williams only laughed.
The one closest to you.
His image dissolved into smoke. Jerry woke with a shout, heart pounding. Meanwhile, Samson was restless. The name Ruth echoed in his head. At night, he heard footsteps in his corridor. He opened the door, nothing there. One evening, he sat with Ngozi, the choir leader.
Ngozi,
he whispered,
have you ever wondered about that flat pastor keeps outside town?
Ngozi hesitated. Then her eyes darkened.
I once saw him dragging a heavy bag there, late at night. The bag was leaking blood.
Samson's blood ran cold.
Did you tell anyone?
No,
she replied.
Who would believe me?
Days later, the church gathered for a night vigil. The air was heavy, prayers filling the hall. Then suddenly, a drop fell on the altar. Another. The ushers pointed upward. Liquid dripped from the ceiling. Red. Blood. The congregation screamed. Some fainted and some fled. Voices shouted, "Abomination!" Jerry grabbed the microphone.
Keep praying. It is a test.
But his voice shook. Samson stood frozen, staring at the blood. The stain spread, forming words across the altar. Remember me. After the vigil, Jerry locked himself in his office again. He paced like a man losing his mind. His hands clutched his head, his eyes wide. He called Samson in.
Sit down, my son.
Samson obeyed. Jerry's stare was sharp, piercing.
You have served me well, but tell me the truth. Did you ever enter my storehouse?
Samson's heart thundered. He forced a smile.
No, sir. Why would I?
Jerry leaned back slowly, eyes never leaving him. He nodded, but the suspicion in his gaze grew darker. That night, Samson tried to pray, but Ruth's voice cut through every word. The whisper no longer begged, it commanded, "Expose him, or you will be the next." Samson buried his face in his hands. His loyalty battled his fear. The choice pressed down on him like a weight. That night, Pastor Jerry sat alone in his mansion. The curtains were drawn, the lights dim. A single candle flickered on the table. He had not eaten. His hands trembled as he prayed. Suddenly, the room grew cold. The candle bent low, the flame struggling, and then he appeared. Pastor Williams, his father, dead for years but standing there now. His skin sagged, his eyes were black hollows.
Jerry!
His voice groaned.
You are losing them. The covenant is broken.
Jerry fell to his knees.
Father, I have kept it. I did the rituals. Why is this happening?
William stepped closer, his face twisted.
You failed. Someone has entered the room. The blood is restless.
Jerry's lips trembled.
Who, Father?
Williams grinned.
The one closest to you.
His image dissolved into smoke. The candle died. Jerry was left in darkness. Samson sat with Ngozi in her small house. His voice was low and urgent.
Ngozi, I saw it. Inside that flat, there is a grave, chained in the floor.
Ngozi's eyes widened. Her lips trembled.
What else?
Samson swallowed hard.
A Bible, torn, soaked in blood. The name carved inside was Ruth.
Ngozi gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears.
Ruth? That was my auntie. She vanished years ago. They told us she traveled abroad. We waited for her return, but she never came back.
Samson's chest grew heavy. He whispered,
She was buried alive in that room.
Ngozi shook her head, tears rolling down her cheeks.
My father, her brother, died waiting for her return. We never knew the truth.
That night, Samson could not rest. He sat in his room, his Bible open, but the words blurred before his eyes. The air turned cold. He looked up slowly. Ruth stood at the corner of the room. Her white choir robe was torn and soaked in blood. Her eyes stared deep into his soul. Her voice was not weak anymore, it was steady. Your pastor killed me. His father began this, and he continued it. Free me, or you will join me. Samson's body shook. His Bible fell from his hands. He shut his eyes, whispering a prayer. When he opened them again, she was gone. But her voice still filled the room, closer and sharper. He will kill again. The next morning, Pastor Jerry sat alone in his study room. A wooden box lay on the table. He opened it slowly, his fingers shaking. Inside were old papers and tokens from his father, a rusted ring, a stained handkerchief, and an old note. He read it aloud, his voice breaking.
I, Pastor Williams, entered covenant with the spiritualists. I buried Ruth alive. She is from my church, a choir member, inside the secret room. For 13 years I prospered. Now my time is done. I hand the secrets to my son Jerry. Never let another step inside, or all will crumble.
Jerry's face twisted with fear. He slammed the box shut and whispered,
God help me.
But the silence gave no answer. The following Sunday, the church was tense. Members whispered in corners. Some refused to sit inside. Fear lingered in the air. Pastor Jerry mounted the pulpit. He shouted in tongues, trying to stir the crowd. But the microphone crackled. Then fell silence. The choir began a song. The speakers hissed, and through them came a voice. A woman's voice, clear, cold, and echoing. Jerry, murderer. The congregation froze. Gasps filled the hall. Mothers grabbed their children. Some ran out screaming. Jerry's face drained of color. He snatched the microphone.
Keep praying, it is a demonic attack.
But his voice shook. Behind him on the wall, a shadow appeared. A woman in a torn robe. Her head bowed, her chains rattling. Members screamed. Some fell to the ground, shouting, Blood! Blood! Jerry turned, but the shadow vanished. That night, he drove to the spiritualist shrine. He knelt, sweating.
Everything is falling apart. What do I do?
The old man stared at him with cold eyes.
Renew it. Blood must answer for blood. Find another.
Jerry swallowed hard.
Who?
The spiritualist smiled faintly.
Someone close. Someone the spirits cannot resist.
Jerry left the shrine with fire in his eyes and a plan. Samson sat with Ngozi again. He told her everything. The grave, the blood Bible, the haunting. Ngozi's eyes burned with tears.
My auntie. So it's true. She didn't travel. He killed her.
She gripped Samson's hands.
You cannot keep silent. If you do, he will kill again.
Samson lowered his head.
I fear him. He is powerful.
Ngozi's grip tightened.
Then fear God more.
Late that night, Pastor Jerry called Samson to his study room. His tone was calm. Too calm.
My son, you've served me well. Tell me, do you trust me?
Samson forced a smile.
Yes, sir.
Jerry leaned forward.
I can make you a great man. A pastor of your own branch. Wealth, influence, respect. All you need is loyalty.
Samson's throat went dry. The offer tempted him, but Ruth's whisper echoed in his mind. Expose him, or you will join me. That same week, Pastor Jerry began to watch Ngozi closely. During choir practice, his eyes lingered. At night vigils, he stood behind her longer than usual. She felt it, the danger. And one evening, as the service ended, Ruth's ghost appeared again, this time not in shadows. She walked down the aisle in full form, blood dripping from her torn robe. The congregation screamed. She raised her chained hand and pointed at Jerry. Murderer! The ground shook. Members ran in chaos. Jerry shouted in the mic,
I bind you!
But the spirits only laughed. In the panic, Samson locked eyes with Jerry. For a moment, Jerry's mask broke. Hatred burned there, and Samson understood. He wasn't just a witness anymore. he was a target. At midnight, Pastor Jerry drove alone to the flat. The black bag sat beside him. Inside it, a knife, oil and chains. His face was hard, his breath sharp. The spiritualist words echoed in his head. Blood must answer for blood. Unseen, Samson followed with Ngozi. They had guessed his plan. Ngozi's steps were shaky, but her eyes burned with anger.
This ends tonight,
she whispered. Inside the flat, Jerry lit candles. The chained grave glowed in the dim light. He opened the bag and pulled out the knife. His voice rose, chanting in the dark tongue his father had used before him. The grave trembled, chains rattled. A wind howled through the room, though the windows were shut. Jerry raised the knife high.
Come forth, take her blood.
Suddenly, the ground split open. The grave burst wide. From it, Ruth rose, chained, pale, her robes soaked in blood. Her eyes locked on Jerry. Blood for blood, she thundered. Jerry staggered back.
No, it was my father. He began it. I only continued.
Ruth's voice shook the walls. Every covenant continues until it ends in blood. The chains shot forward like serpents. They wrapped around Jerry's arms, his legs, his chest. He screamed, struggling, the knife clattering to the floor.
Release me! I am your pastor. I am anointed.
Ruth's face twisted with rage. You killed me. You fed me to the grave. Now the grave will feed on you. Samson and Ngozi stood frozen at the doorway. They watched as the chains dragged Jerry across the floor. His nails tore at the wood, leaving bloody marks. He screamed again, his voice breaking.
Help me! Samson, my son!
But Samson did not move. He clutched Ngozi's hand tighter. The chains yanked Jerry into the grave. The soil closed over him. The candles blew out. Silence. The floor shook violently. Cracks peeled the walls. The flat groaned like a dying beast. Samson pulled Ngozi out. They ran as the building collapsed into dust behind them. The night swallowed the sound. When they stopped to catch their breath, Ngozi bent down. At her feet lay a folder that had been thrown out in the collapse. She picked it up and opened it. Inside were letters, old and stained, each one signed by different pastors across the country. Words repeated in every letter. Thank you, Pastor Williams, for showing us the way. Samson's blood turned cold. He snatched the folder, flipping through page after page. Every letter spoke of rooms, of covenants, of sacrifices. His voice shook.
It wasn't just him. There are others.
Ngozi dropped to her knees, tears streaming.
My auntie, how many others?
Behind them, on the remains of the flat wall, blood began to spread. Slowly, it formed words. More rooms were open. Samson and Ngozi stared in horror. That night, wind carried Ruth's whisper, faint but sharp. It is not finished. Any altar built on blood will one day demand blood. No secrets buried in darkness stays hidden forever. Hello farms, thank you for watching through to the end of this beautiful story. Please consider subscribing to our channel if you are yet to do that. Like and share this video, and until we meet on our next story. Bye.